Bow, 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 bow.
Bow, bow. Bling, blow. Bling, blow.
Rest of the dead. Ooh, cut out the dead. Ooh, rest of the bed. Ooh, cut out the dead. Fresh out of the bed. Cut out the dead. Bow, bow. They heard what you said. They heard what you said. If I wasn't rapping, I'd be bundles.
Nah, bro.
Ooh, hey, ooh,
Ugh.
cut out the dead. You're planning on sharing your screen and your audio, you better fucking learn. Bitch.
No.
Why so defeated? No. Did. Did.
Get ready to jump in once I'm done with. Get ready to jump in once I'm done with this.
What?
It's at nighttime where my mind flutters, and like the leaf on that wind, I stay awake no hour of the night, and wandering mind holds me to my word. I cannot stay longer. The visions of you all will be what I take to my grave. They have helped me to see and appreciate and love, and though this hasn't gone exactly how I wanted, know that I did it how I saw fit. That lonely hour calls to me, and the moonlight beckons. It's beautiful and flows and sways like her. I can't stop watching it. I'm stuck in a trance, completely mesmerized by the mirage of a ghost. It fades away, and I'm left in the night, wandering, hopeless and hopeful, utterly in pieces. I pick them up and move along, fighting the urge to look back. And at the flutter of time's curtains and the march of the tormented, does my bell ring and ring. It calls to those yearning, hoping, longing for what's been lost, fixating on what could be. Come and sit around this campfire with me. Let's warm our bones and cool our blood a little longer and forget the miseries of yesterday. We rotten few, the soulless trash, the dirt on the bottoms of the shoes of better men, we drink and smoke more so to the numbness we aim for than to the value of the company around this fire. It warms us, nonetheless. Now, I wish you could be here with me, sitting and laughing, telling stories as embers flicker upwards into the night. It was me, it was you. I wish it wasn't this way. Alas, the sea and sky are still blue, and 2 plus 2 still equals 4. The hopelessness of wanting to call into the dark to this stranger I once knew, I think is what's sending these tears down my face. All alone. It feels as if to have everything, then suddenly nothing. The sea and sky are still blue.
You think dreams mean anything?
So today we're going to be discussing wide variety of different topics. I mean, we can start off with, do dreams mean anything? I mean, if you've seen the new Doctor Strange movie, you would know that dreams are considered in the Marvel Cinematic Universe to be windows into our alternate lives. What do you think about that?
I want to be honest, I don't remember the last dream I remembered. And if I can't remember them, do they mean anything?
You can't remember the last dream you remembered?
Nope. The last dream I had, I can't remember what it was. Does that make sense?
Well,
If I dream, I wake up the next morning and I remember it. I don't remember what that dream was. Like the last dream I remember was probably like a week ago, but I don't remember what it was. But I just knew I had a dream that night, and I don't remember what it was.
what's the worst nightmare you've ever had? Can you remember the worst nightmare?
Nightmare? Shit. I remember a nightmare. but it wasn't like uh, a really bizarre
Listen,
nightmare.
I'll tell you about this recurring nightmare that I have where every other detail of the dream or the nightmare I cannot recall. Don't know what's going on, but I do. The most visceral part of these nightmares that I do remember is my teeth getting pulled out. I have
Fuck.
recurring nightmares of my teeth getting yanked out very brutally.
Why?
I don't know.
What does that mean?
It could mean that maybe
See,
my
that's what I'm saying.
maybe my
It's
dental hygiene
does it
isn't
mean
up to
anything?
par, you
Does
know?
it mean
Maybe I need to
does
go
it
see
mean
a
anything?
dentist. Maybe I need to, I don't know, get braces.
You say it's reoccurring. When did it start?
Probably like middle school, I would say.
And they're often like
Middle school, it started off as like somebody yanking out my teeth. But as of recently, it's evolved into uh like it's pretty much like my teeth falling out. Like I'll be eating or something, and all of a sudden I bite down on a tooth, and it's my tooth, and I realize I'm like, oh shit, you know, it's like that weird feeling. Does that make sense?
that. Well, teeth fall out. You get older.
Yeah, it could be a sign that maybe I'm just scared of becoming an old person.
Yeah, or you are maturing. Like you're getting older.
Nope. No. Nope.
No,
No.
no.
No, I'm getting younger. I'm Benjamin buttoning this shit.
Yeah, you're going back to school.
Dead ass.
You're dead ass going back to school.
I'm Benjamin buttoning this shit.
You're a little schoolboy. A little schoolboy. The
Speaking of
nightmare. I
speaking
don't
of
think I've.
Benjamin Button. Speaking of Benjamin Button, what do you know about Benjamin Button? You ever see the movie?
Isn't that like he's
It's like
he's
going.
young, but
Yeah,
he's
he's like.
old as fuck. He looks old as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see the movie, but I know. Yeah, I know of that scenario. Yeah.
yeah. Um.
You think you're Benjamin Buttoning?
Speaking of Benjamin Button, I feel like I really have. I was going nowhere with this. I just wanted to see if you'd seen the movie Benjamin Button.
No, I've not seen the movie Benjamin Button.
There's no other. There's no further conversation planned for that topic.
Oh, but like, but I've as far as nightmares, I don't think or dreams in general, like nothing is ever reoccurring.
Oh yeah, no, shit's reoccurring for me all the time. Falling?
I don't have reoccurring
You ever fall?
nightmares.
You ever fall in a dream?
Uh, no, like from the sky.
Yeah. You ever feel like you're just fucking free falling? And then you wake up and you're
Mm,
like, oh my god.
I wish, bro, low key.
Oh my god.
Be kind of sick, but not like. Ooh, I don't know, bro. Well, I've had it where like people in my dream are falling from the sky,
Oh my
but I've
god.
never fallen. I've
What
never
the
fallen from
fuck?
the sky. No, I have I had a dream when I was little that I was outside playing basketball, my own business, and my little sister falls from the sky. It's her head stuck in the basketball hoop. Then it ended, and I woke up. That was a dream. That's it.
you
She's like,
okay?
"What does that mean?" And I'm like, "That could mean a lot of things."
You okay, bro? You alright, bro?
You okay, dude? I've also had a dream. My dreams are like they don't even make sense. Like nothing. I've had a dream once where I was just sitting on the beach. Just it was only me on the beach. Only me on the beach. All I could see was the beach. I wasn't like looking around at like the houses behind me. All I could see was the beach. I was chilling, and like an elephant just like walks across the.
Jeez.
And then
What the fuck?
I woke up, and I was like, damn, that was crazy. And then I just went about my day like it wasn't, like I didn't have the dream.
Damn.
Those dreams were like years ago. Like I bookmarked those because I think those are fucking hilarious. But a nightmare, I had a nightmare once in when I was at the lake house in Michigan. I was little. In the house, me and my two sisters all slept in the same room, and right next door was my mom and dad's room. And the house is completely made of wood. You can hear everything that goes on. If you walk around, everyone will hear you because the house creaks, everything. And there's no like insulation or anything. It's just like a piece of wood in between each room. That's the only thing that's dividing the room, is just pieces of wood. It was really late, and I had a dream. This was a day before we left Michigan, so we were about to hop on a plane the next morning. I had a dream, or a nightmare, that I woke up next morning, and my parents left me. My family left me at the house. I was like, like 7 or 8 years old. I had a dream that they just left me there at the house, and then stuff was like, I mean, stuff does live under the house because it's old. But there was stuff like creepy under the house and shit like that. I woke up crying, and since the room was right, my parents' room was right next door, so I was like sniffing, and I was like sniffing and like making noises, and I was crying. My mom came over, she's like, "Is everything okay?" And I was, "Everything's fine." Like, okay, go back to sleep. And I woke up the next morning, and I was just like, "Where's everybody? Where the fuck is everybody?" Because I thought they were actually gonna leave
Jesus.
me. I was terrified because that house is mad creepy when you're in there alone. That's the only nightmare that I've ever like remembered and like kept, like bookmarked. I have more daymares than nightmares. I just be thinking about weird shit during the day.
Dude, that's weird.
Weird.
But yeah, as of recently I haven't been getting good sleep lately, so I just haven't really been dreaming or nightmaring. Just been sleeping.
Sleeping.
Trying to sleep.
Trying to sleep is counterproductive. If you try too hard to sleep, you're never gonna sleep.
Oh shit.
Oh shit, am I wrong?
Nah.
Try too hard to sleep, you're not gonna sleep. You won't sleep. I have a bad habit of doing that. Like, oh, I really want to sleep, and then I won't sleep. It's got to be like, oh, I guess I'll go to sleep, and then I'll pass the fuck out. But if I need to sleep, I know I need to. I'm thinking about sleeping, and then I finally get to sleep. I'm like, God, sleep. It's the worst feeling.
Who's fighting tonight?
Adesanya and Cannonier. That's the main. That's
When
the
does that
event.
start?
9 my time, 8 your time. Well, the main card starts at 9 my time, 8 your time. Fuck. And then Holloway, Volkanovski trilogy fight, even though Max lost the previous two. Sean Strickland and Herrera, and then Sean O'Malley and Munoz are fighting. I think they kick off the fucking main card. Card's crazy though. Card's stacked.
Interesting. Very interesting.
I think Donald Cerrone's fighting in the prelims. Not that I'm expecting you to know any of those people. All you care about is Rose and Namajunas.
That's really a loaded accusation, Phil. I think you should really think about my consideration towards other fighters in the MMA. There's a multitude of fighters that not only that I respect but admire. Uh,
Name
uh,
them. Name
let's
them.
let's go ahead and name a few. I remember some of the first um, fighters that I was actually able to witness when I was watching TV. Some of them being, say, GSP George St. Pierre, got Uriah Faber. Um, yeah,
California Kid.
the California kid with that fucking butt chin.
Yeah. An ass
Uh,
for a face.
so that was like around that era. Was like when those guys were big. Like that was when I started getting into the MMA, or actually like realizing what was good, because it was mainly my dad watching it, and he didn't even really like. He wasn't interested in the like the intricacies and the complexities of the actual like fighting itself. He just loved seeing. He thought it was great American entertainment.
Yeah,
It's like,
people beat the shit out of each other.
yeah, it's pretty much as close as we can get to the Coliseum being live streamed every day, right? So
Yeah.
um when he started watching that was when I started, and then from there on there was kind of a break, honestly, where I stopped paying attention. I didn't really care until uh it was really like Conor McGregor, that whenever he got big was when I started like, oh shit, like this is kind of cool.
Yeah, like this is an actual sport.
This, well, not only that, but like it
People
was
actually.
it was just like it became like a superstar kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
Like it was like it seemed like everybody knew who he was. It seemed like everybody knew what was going on too.
Yeah.
But not only that, whenever he got his ass handed to him by Khabib, I mean, up until then, I had thought Connor was the shit. I thought Connor was it,
Like untouchable.
untouchable, straight up. Like this dude could fuck anybody up. This guy's insane.
Except Nate Diaz.
But like, dude, when him and Khabib fought, like that opened my
Khabib jumps out of the cage and starts
dude.
fighting Dylan
Yeah,
Dennis, dude.
no, I was like, holy shit! Like this is absolutely insane. Like
Crazy ass
there's
Russian.
something deeper here. There's something deeper here than just like, oh, it's this guy fighting this guy. It's
Yeah.
more. It was more than that, and I wanted to see what the fuck that was like, and how somebody like Conor McGregor up until this point, who I thought was just untouchable, gets absolutely fucking embarrassed and
In front of the world.
in front of the
In
world.
front of the world.
Like
Not
I
in front
was,
of America.
yeah.
Not in front of like North America. Blah blah. It's Russia against Ireland, bro.
and Ireland was getting smothered the entire time, and I was just like, how does somebody even do that? That's just fucking like, it's like chess, but on such a much more dire and physical scale. Like the mental processes that go behind or that go into MMA itself is just like, kind of want to get into that shit. Because up until then, it's just been street fights for me. It's just been fucking fighting people on the bus and shit, you know. And that doesn't really translate. You don't see people fucking squaring up in the octagon.
You know what's funny? I see these videos of fight videos on Twitter go viral, and every once in a while I'll see one. They like have a stance and they throw a leg kick, and they're like, "What the hell?" And then he just gets his ass kicked because the guy actually knows MMA.
Oh
Like,
shit!
bro, if you square up to someone and they hit you with a leg kick,
I'm
before you
gonna
do anything
fucking put
else,
my hands up.
you're fucked.
I'm like, I'm
You're
sorry.
fucked.
I shouldn't have done
You're
this. I shouldn't have done this.
You mess with the wrong dude. He hits you with a leg kick, you're toast.
Like fucking Izzy against Costa. Just
Oh yeah.
I don't even know what round it was, but at one point his leg is literally just fucking black and blue.
Yeah.
Couldn't be me. Couldn't be me.
It's funny because that fight, everyone was talking about it like just gonna be fight of the year. Costa's the only guy that has the balls or the aggression to push Izzy. And then he gets in there, gets hit with a couple lead kicks, and then he does not push he's
Yeah.
shitting his pants in that octagon. You could tell he's like trying to do antics and dance around like, oh, that didn't hurt. He was crying inside, and Izzy was like, oh, this is a piece of picked him apart.
Yeah.
Absolutely picked him apart. And then he gets him on the floor, ground and pound, calls it, and then Izzy humps his ass. He humps him from behind.
Yeah, bro.
It starts break dancing in the middle of the octagon, and Costa's just sitting there on the floor with this massive gash on his forehead.
How do you let
Oh
somebody do
my
that to you?
god.
Like,
Oh my god.
hold up, hold up.
What?
We're back on the air.
I'll call you.
Yeah, my sister FaceTimed me. Yeah, MMA has like, especially recently with just Now when you start talking about Rose Namajunas, yeah, I think she's super hot. I'm not gonna deny that, but like, I think what the most like intriguing thing, for me about her was like her story. Now I've heard like conflicting stories, like different reports and shit. From what I know, or for like the information that I've been told, could be misinformation. So warning out there in case I'm wrong. Supposedly she got sexually assaulted really young, like really young, way younger than anybody should. Not that anybody ever should, but she ended up dealing.
Yeah.
She ended up dealing with it in a way that like not usually. Not a lot of people usually deal with it. Like I don't know if there was this one post fight when she was talking to Joe Rogan, and all she was talking about was like her biggest thing during the speech was like trying to make the world a better place, trying to make it like a safer place, a happier place for everybody, which is like kind of counterintuitive from the outside looking in when you think about it. Like how is beating the shit out of somebody in an octagon making the world a better place, right? But then when you go really deeper and you look into the like the human aspect of it, like what's really
She's
going
just
on
like
here? This
she's just like
person,
she's building an audience
yeah, not only
credibility
that,
through competition.
but it's just like the ultimate form of overcoming adversity and dealing with like crazy terrible shit that's happened to you before, but like still putting on that smile, you know,
Yeah.
and still like getting out there and like, you know, I just want the world to be a better, like that's what really kind of opened my eyes to like, oh, there's something deeper to the MMA scene. There's something deeper to the fighting scene that I don't think a lot of people realize. It's a type of element that I don't think Colby Covington is even aware of. I don't think that's like in his scope of reality. I feel like for people like Colby Covington, it's just like he needs a face to bury his fists in, whether it be his opponents, his wife, you know, anything, you know. And there's a clear contrast between fighters like Rose and fighters like Colby Covington.
The thing about Colby is, I think I think that motherfucker is smart. That motherfucker's smart.
Explain your reasoning.
Like he knows what he's doing. He knows he's a piece of shit, but it's getting him money. But he knows the MMA scene.
Okay.
That's all an act, bro. That's all an act.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
He knows exactly what he's doing. He knows exactly how people view him. He knows exactly how fucked up it is. Everything he says is fucked. Everything. All the shit that he says, all the stuff that he wears, all of it, all fucked. And he knows exactly what he's doing. And all the fighters know that he knows exactly what he's doing too. The fighters are like, yo, that guy can fight. And he's a piece of shit, but that guy can fight. He has respect. Fighting on the fighting end. But what he doesn't get respect for is the way he acts. But the way he acts is getting him so much publicity and so much. I wouldn't say so much money because I don't know how much he gets paid, but a lot more money than if he didn't have that act. Didn't have that act, he wouldn't be in the UFC. He
Interesting.
got
But you see
he
what I'm
was
talking about. You see what I'm talking about with like the clear difference between people like Rose and people
motives,
like
like
Kobe.
different motives for where they use their platform or for different motives.
That's that exact. And I think that's why I'm I admire Rose so much more than people like Kobe is because like it's that public image, it's that fame that comes
Yeah.
along with being a champion. And that's like, what are
Yeah.
you gonna do with it?
I feel like Dustin's like that too. Dustin's and Rose are very similar.
Now I don't know a lot
Dustin
about Dustin,
Porter.
and yeah, I don't really know a lot about him. I honestly had no idea really who he was up until he broke Connor's leg.
Your wife sent me DMs, baby.
Yeah, up until then, I really had no idea like who he was, but
I mean, him and Rose. I don't think they have the same,
like I
not
don't
the same
know.
story or anything, but the way they handle them, like the way they go around themselves. It's all positive. It's all like, "Oh, I hate this guy. I'm gonna fuck him up. Blah blah blah. Like I'm gonna do what I gotta do. After that, I'm gonna get my earnings, and I'm going to continue with my charities because he's a Louisiana native. So all that, everything he does is for Louisiana and the people there.
Also, what do you? I see a lot of stuff online talking about like a lot of people think the relationship between Pat Barry and Rose is super weird.
Yeah, because he was her coach. She was younger. They started dating just the second she turned 18. Publicly. That's why everyone's like, oh, he's a pedo. He's after, like, he's basically her dad, but they're married. So it's really bizarre.
Hmm.
And people talk a lot of shit about him just for that reason alone. Like they don't know what he's in, like what his morals are or what his motives are behind being with Rose, but it seems pretty sketch. They've been together for who the fuck knows how long. I don't
Yeah,
know.
but like I can see why people think it's sketch, but like I don't know, man. I honestly don't know. From what I see, like when I think about it, all I think of, like the main thing that comes to mind is that scene of like when they're in the cage, right? And Rose about to go in, and Pat's just all up in her face, like who the best, you know?
Yeah.
That's like I don't know. I feel like yeah, I can understand why people think that's sketch, but at the same time, like
Some of that
they
shit is just people
seem
being haters, bro.
yeah, they seem like they're doing well. Seem like they're doing well for themselves. So
Yeah. It's easier for people to judge than to accept reality.
or at least like try to understand, I guess. Like that's what I'm
Yeah,
trying to
it's
do.
easier for people to judge than to be open-minded and understanding.
Yeah. Have you ever
Which is,
watched the show Ted Lasso?
I haven't, but I've heard it's good. That's the one where he's like
Yeah.
a football coach, but he's a soccer. They
Yeah,
uh
so he was a D3 football coach in America that gets transferred or not transferred, but he gets offered a job to coach Premier FC um in England. This fucking what's the name of the uh club? Fuck, I haven't watched it in a while. But I think you would really like it, mostly cuz like one you already have a prior knowledge of soccer and I feel
yeah.
like uh that would be kind of engaging to you, but like there's pretty much the theme of the show is him or every all around Ted Lasso is like this world of like not corruption but um just like people making mistakes, people being bad to each other and just like it's like Ted Lasso pretty much just being this radiating light of goodness in this kind of industry where things aren't always as they seem. So everybody's trying to like, and nobody believes that Ted Lasso is this as nice and as friendly as he's presenting himself. Nobody really trusts this guy because they think he's up to
It's like
something.
it's like Jimmy Fallon, bro. There's no way that fucker is happy all the time like that.
That's
There's no
yeah,
way.
no way, right? And
No
with
way.
Jimmy
That dude is.
Fallon, with Jimmy
He's
Fallon,
got
that's
to be a
probably
shitbag,
true.
bro.
With Jimmy
That dude's
Fallon,
got
that's
to be a
probably
shitbag.
true. And with Ted Lasso, it's also true, but it's more so, um, like that. It like Ted Lasso does a way better job than Jimmy Fallon does of it. You know, like, and it's a really good show. I think you should watch it. There's a lesson in there where he talks about try like he tries not to judge, and he instead of judging, he prefers to be curious. If people uh actually wanted to know, or people weren't scared of what they didn't know, they would ask questions. They wouldn't judge, they would be curious. They would ask, like, oh, what's that for, or like, what is the, it's a really nice lesson that he teaches of a fine line of curiosity and judging, you know.
Yeah.
And I think
Like me
that's like,
personally, I think it's like when you're talking about like people being curious instead of being judgmental.
yeah.
I find it like really encouraging when people ask me things that are, I wouldn't say personal, but just ask questions.
Yeah.
Because it's like you want to know something, you ask a question, whether it's like a touchy subject or something, or I don't want to tell you. The fact that you're curious about something and you want to ask the question instead of assuming what the answer is, that's like, I don't
Because
care who you are.
if you never get more information on what you're, if you never get more information on what you don't know, you'll always be afraid of it.
Yeah.
Or you'll always be hesitant of it.
Yeah.
And the more you know, the more the more comfortable you become with the idea.
Yeah. That's why the last time a situation like that happened was just oh, okay. You know how I mean, here's some context. When I was last semester in Arkansas, and it was like end of winter, beginning of summer-ish, fall, blah blah blah. The weather was nice, or it was really cold. I would every Friday night or Saturday night, I would leave my apartment. I'd walk all the way to Dixon Street, which is where all the bars were. There was an Auntie Anne's on that street,
Mm-hmm.
and I fucking love Auntie Anne's.
Same.
So every week, I'd walk about. It's like a 15, 20-minute walk at like 11:30, or like 11:30 at night. I'd walk over to Auntie Anne's Friday or Saturday night. I'd get whatever my order was. I'd sit down. I'd bring a journal with me, and I just write whatever was on my mind. I just journal, whether good or bad, good, bad, the ugly, highs, lows of the week. Doesn't matter what it was. I just write it down.
Yeah.
And there would be people that would come up to me because I mean it's on the street where all the fucking bars are, so half of them are drunk and they're all like doing whatever they're doing. There was one time where I was writing, and I'd stay there from like 11:30 to 1:30. I'd be there for 2 hours just writing, page after page. It's funny because like I'd be sitting there minding my own business, and I know where I am. It doesn't bother me that people are like sitting there looking at me. What like, obviously, that's not normal for me to just bring a journal and write and have my earbuds in the middle of Auntie Anne's on a crowded bar street. It's not normal, and I get it. But it was just like I'm routine, and that's the first place that I did it. So every time I would go, I would just go there. Every time I'd go, there'd be people looking and blah blah blah, and some people would come up and be like, "Hey, what are you doing over here?" or something like that. And there was one time where I was minding my own business. It was like an hour and a half in, and I was just kind of like reading over the stuff that I was writing.
Mm-hmm.
There's a group of people that walk by, and one of the girls goes, like good luck, man. I'm happy for you. And she like gave me a high five, and I was like, okay,
Hmm?
you're weird. But I mean, I guess she was like trying to figure out what I was doing. And she figured it out, so she like, hey, good for you, blah blah blah. And then like 30 minutes went by. Then a guy came up to me and he goes, and I was just packing my bag. I put my journal in my bag, put my backpack on, and he saw me get up, and so he walked over to me and he was like, hey, I have a question. What? And he goes, what are you doing with that journal? And I was like, uh, there's really no uh like script or anything. I don't have any specific thing that I'm writing about. It's just whatever's on my mind. I'll just jot it down. Like, oh, okay. I was like, yeah. And he goes, it's cool, bro. And I was like, okay. And I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna head out. And he goes, you come here often, right? And I was like, uh, I do this once a week. It was like, I think I've seen you before. And I was like, probably. And he was like, oh, cool. Well, I mean, I'll see you around, man. And I was
Hmm.
like, okay. And I left. I was thinking in my head, I was like, that was weird, but at least he came up and like he was curious about something.
Yeah.
And he didn't like stop me in the middle of what I was doing. I was waiting for a time that it was appropriate to walk up to me and be like, hey, what are you doing? But it wasn't awkward. I mean, it was kind of out of the blue, but it was a difference of not to say that the first person that walked up to me was assuming anything. She obviously was like it was no like ill intent, like she was judging me or anything. But the fact that he may have known what I was doing, but he didn't know exactly what I was doing. So he felt the need to ask me so that he wasn't assuming something that wasn't true. I was like, ah, hats off to that guy. Most people wouldn't do that. Maybe he was drunk. I don't know. Drunk people have more of a they feel more comfortable like walking up to random people like that.
Mm.
But I was like, oh, hats off to you, dude, just for asking questions. I don't have any. I don't care what question. If you have a question, you ask the question. It's my up to me if I want to answer or not. Don't get mad if I don't want to answer, because at that point, fuck you.
Yeah, I feel like more people need to be willing to ask questions
Yeah,
instead of just like, what the fuck is that, you know?
yeah, yeah. Because some people don't know how to ask questions either. People
Exactly.
don't know how to ask questions. They're judging you with the question. It's like, bro, are you serious? It just you. All you had to do was change your tone, and you wouldn't seem like such a dick.
Yeah.
That's more of like the. I guess it's just how like just socially we are. The way we ask questions is kind of
Like, we have to
what the
teach ourselves that. We have to teach ourselves how to be considerate and ask questions. I wish we were born with it. That'd be nice.
I feel like the older we get, the less or the more difficult it is to ask questions. I guess like when you're little, you're just like, "What's that?"
Yeah.
Because you literally don't know shit. But sometimes as you get older, you feel like you know more, so you feel like you're downplaying yourself by asking questions because you feel like you should know enough to not have to ask a question. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's just like I guess that's like through experiences and like that, but some people just they're not even like assuming, they're just like that's what it is. They don't realize they're assuming because they think that that's fact in their head. They're like that's fact, that's he's doing that or this is that. So they don't even think to ask questions. I feel like everyone does that though.
One
Gotta do it as
time,
often as I
one
can.
time when I was living in Ohio, I was so young that I just had no idea. I was way too young to even comprehend what was happening. But because my parents were there and they saw what was going on, they like intervenes. But basically, what went down was we were at this park, and I was playing on the playground, and these two white kids who were like way older than me. I don't know. I mean, like they were still pretty young, but because I was like maybe like 3 or 4 at the time, these kids just seemed so much older, and they were publicly stoning me on this playground, just like pelting me with like the rocks and shit that were on the ground. And when I mean, like I was 3 or 4, so like these weren't gonna, I wasn't gonna fucking die, but I mean, it still fucking hurt a lot. So I was crying and shit. I couldn't fucking defend myself. They were just like pelting me and shit. And I remember my sister was there, but she just was frozen. She had no idea what to do. And my dad, like, I just remember my dad coming in and like almost like beating the shit out of these kids, like grabbing them by their shirts and like dragging them back to their parents and like yelling at the parents. Like it was a whole fucking scene, man. It was a whole fucking scene. But I think I remember the parents being super apologetic, like they had no idea that their kids were doing this. They were like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
My dad didn't give a shit. He was mad as fuck. Even more so than that, he was mad at my sister. I remember he yelled at my sister, like he really got mad at my sister because, and it was about this whole thing of like when you see that your family's in trouble, you go and fucking help them. You don't just stand there and watch. Like he was like so mad.
She
and
was,
it was
how old? How much older is she?
So she's older than me by 2 years. No, 3
She
years.
was like 5 or 6.
Yeah, so she was like 5 or 6. So like, and and so like she couldn't have possibly known, but this was, I mean, it's kind of a big thing, right? Your kid just got fucking, like as a parent, what do you do? How do you do the right thing? And I think he was just scrambling to figure out like how to fucking handle the situation. And it was only after that I realized that apparently they were like calling me names and shit, and like just calling me a bunch of like fucking terrorists, like Arab shit, and just like shit like that, just being like super mean, super racist, saying super racist stuff. I don't remember any of that. I don't even remember anything I don't even remember them talking really. I just remember just like getting hit with these rocks. But
Your dad said that they were screaming that shit?
yeah.
Imagine what's going through your dad's head.
Dude,
You know
like,
damn well he wanted to fucking punt those.
dude,
bucks.
I'm surprised. Like, dude, I'm honestly like thinking about it now. I'm surprised that he didn't lay his hand on, lay a finger on those kids, because, like,
If he did, it would have been over.
yeah,
Would have been
honestly.
over. That's a wrap. No, we were just playing at the park. I don't know what you're talking about. Yo, you threw him in the river.
Yeah, bro.
You threw that kid in the river.
Yeah, some shit like that, bro. Like, honestly, like if I was a parent, I would be that mad. I would want to fucking fuck that kid up if somebody was doing that to my kid. But like, I just kind of think back and like, I was so young. It's not even really like, is this something that affected me? I don't really know. I don't think so. It's just kids being stupid. I like to think that those guys are just out there now, still alive, throwing rocks at colored people. And just like,
you're young enough to like not even comprehend what the situation was.
Exactly, and they just haven't aged a day from that.
They're like on the most wanted list, like KKK members or some shit.
Yeah. So
imagine find those someday.
Imagine all the people.
How much older were they than you?
I just remember
like
them.
No, there's no shot of 5-year-old was screaming. Fuck.
Yeah, because like I just remember them being so much bigger.
Yeah. What if they
Like as a
what if they're
kid,
like in their 20s?
so at my age, I looked at them. At my age, I looked at them and thought they were like teenagers or something. But in reality, looking back on it, they were probably in like elementary school.
Yeah, they're probably like 10 years old.
Yeah, something like that. So,
Yeah, and that's what's so mind blowing because like how how do kids like that like are they like where are their parents?
they just, I honestly, like, I
It
understand
doesn't
it.
even make sense. It
Like, I
doesn't
can
even make sense
understand
in
it.
my
These kids are
brain.
just so, like, they probably were exposed to some sort of media, some form of media that might have suggested the idea maybe in a comedic way or something that something that suggested it, and then being as young as they were, they thought maybe the shit was funny, you know. That's all they probably thought it was just funny. They thought it was just jokes.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I hope that that's the case because the worst case scenario would be their parents were the influencers of that behavior,
Yeah, the
and
worst
that
case
is
scenario is
when
them like, yeah, when you see a colored person, Tommy, you grab the nearest rock and you chuck
yeah,
it at them.
yeah, they're just like cheering them on park bench.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tommy, get him. When we get home, we're gonna work on our accuracy, okay, Tommy?
Yeah. Target practice. Go in the backyard and there's just this kid penned up to the fucking fence. It's like, no, 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 please, please. Oh God. Okay. All right.
Oh no.
We're gonna keep that.
You need to cut it.
Damn, we gotta cut it. Oh shit.
Oh, we don't need to cut it, bro. Fuck it.
Ooh.
As long as I didn't say it.
Yeah,
Here and there.
if I feel like it would be a lot worse if you were the one saying that. Yeah, no, I feel like we're good.
I didn't say it, so we can keep it.
I feel like
Wow.
we're good. We're gonna have to go back and listen to it and see.
You're gonna hear it and be like, "Fuck, we're really leaving that in, huh?"
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe not. We'll cut it.
Put it.
Everybody, this has been the first episode of Thoughts Don't Help with Phil McCutcheon and Adam Musad. We're going to be releasing episodes every week, probably on every Saturday or so. So get ready for that. Please subscribe if you want to become a Patreon. Link to our Patreon is in the description. Recently, as you know, Roe v. Wade was abolished by the Supreme Court. So please, if you have the means, donate to abortion funds near you. Seek out active ways you can help in your community to help those with less resources. Now is the time to come together. Now is the time to come together, Phil. Okay. Now is the time to come together. And now is the time to come together as a nation, and we need to look to our neighbors and say to ourselves, how can we help? Phil, I think now is a good time. You can go ahead and continue with.
Nah, that was just. I was about to. Okay, no, I'll say it. Fuck it. What are we here for? Oh, we were in Traverse City, right?
Yeah.
About to get dropped off at the airport like a couple weeks ago. They were doing these protests by the beach, like Roe v. Wade, blah blah blah. I don't know what the sign said. But there were people that were like, "Sign this petition." What the fuck is a petition gonna do?
Yeah, I would always
Like, is
do
that just like
a lot of more research into the petition that they're asking you to sign. I feel like what would be a lot more helpful now is donating to abortion funds, and helping those in your community near you.
abortion funds that are actually abortion funds, not some fucking weird ass GoFundMe?
Yeah, exactly. Because you don't actually.
Don't be
I mean,
fucking
some of these
dumb.
people could just be trying to profit off of.
Yeah.
You never know. So it's always good to clarify uh, the help that you're trying to do and where it's going to go. So, uh, any last comments? Any last ideas, Phil? Any last things you want to say to our lovely audience before we sign off on our first episode?
Suck my dick on the plane. But airhead.
And stop recording. And that is it. There we go.